Hello, come in. So, Jess, what have you ordered today? What are we eating in room service?
So we've got a classic chicken Caesar salad.
Sexy.
And fries.
And
Can't go wrong.
we think that, let me just do a taste test, because when this arrived, we were like, what is that? It's like a speckly.
I think it
It's
could be truffle.
There's definitely truffle in there. Lovely.
Essential.
Can't go wrong. So we are in the Great Scotland Yard Hotel today,
We are.
which I am told is the former residence, the English residence of the Scottish royal family. And you yourself are a Scotch.
I am, not royal.
Not
sadly,
royal.
But, you know.
Well, you might be a long descendant of. You can
I
never
thought
rule it
that.
out.
On my mum's side, she was Stuart, and I was like, that could be Mary Queen of Scots, Stuart, but different lineage, sadly.
So whereabouts in Scotland are you from?
I'm from a village called Crook of Devon, like
Crook of Devon.
45 minutes north of Edinburgh. I always used to say 40 minutes north of Edinburgh, and then I was like, why 40? Why have I gone for 40? It's so specific.
You should
So
say
now
I want you to say 43, actually.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think that's
And that's a total guess, to be fair. I
Yeah.
think it's around that.
around the 40
North
mark.
of the bridge.
Got you.
Yeah, yeah.
And when did you move to England, to London?
2015.
Oh, okay.
So 10. Oh, this is the 11th year. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
That's mad.
So just after I graduated. Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning then, while we're talking about that. Well, I know you as an incredible fashion illustrator. I have fangirled over you for a very long time. I think we've been Instagram friends for a while.
Yeah.
And we now have the same agent, and I have worked with you at an event before. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. You drew me. And if you remember this conversation, was the first pancake, we called it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Always.
So this is when you're doing live art at events, and when you're making pancakes, the first one's always a bit crap.
Yeah.
So I was the model
You were the
for
pancake.
you to get the first pancake out, so that when guests came along. But the first pancake is hung in my office.
Aww.
It was beautiful, and you made me look far more attractive than I am in the flesh. So for that, I am forever grateful. So, but are you a classically trained artist then? So, like, what's your background?
No.
How did you get into fashion illustration?
So I did go to art school, but I studied fashion design, actually. But in Scotland, you do 4 years. So the first year is kind of just a general year to kind of figure out what it is that you want to specialise in. And I just went to art school because I liked drawing and I had no idea what else to do. So then when I got there, I thought that's what I would end up doing, like painting or whatever. But I actually discovered fashion, which I don't think I was actually aware of the fashion industry at all before uni, just quite sheltered. And then discovered fashion and ended up going down that route, making clothes. And then that kind of brought me to London after graduation, which I worked in for a few years before then transitioning into illustration.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. I was thinking, so I just associate you obviously with fashion so intrinsically from like the clients you've worked with. I mean, you've done live illustration. Am I correct in this, that you actually sit on the runway and you capture?
Yeah, more drawing backstage at the show rather than out on the front of house. Just because I like the energy backstage, and you get slightly longer with the models, I would say, than the 10 seconds down the catwalk.
Yeah.
So I tend to do backstage.
So would a brand approach you for that? How does that come about, that particular project, when you're doing that runway stuff? Fashion Week?
That has kind of just been something organic that I've worked with brands who perhaps I interned with, like when I first came down to London, or like through like friends that I made through that. So so far it's just kind of been from that avenue.
Really organic.
Yeah. But I guess I could then reach out to other brands and do it.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely. But so your love of fashion, you discovered it through design first and foremost.
Yeah. So yeah, like making the clothes, the kind of process of like researching behind a collection, and I loved the research stage always, and then kind of taking that into a collection. But yeah, I worked in that for a couple of years when I first came down, but on the side was doing life drawing classes, like as often as I could, just to maintain some level of sanity while I worked in that industry. It was like my way of chilling out.
I love that that's your way of chilling out. Mine is drinking 7 Negronis. Well, we all have our own thing.
If you get the right life drawing class, you can do both at the same time. So yeah.
I'm in. You obviously like the human form, and that's one thing that's really evident to me in your work is the movement, but it's your interpretation of the human form, because you've got a very recognizable style, and we were talking about this off camera, and that's what I admire so much. I think there's so many people in the illustration world specifically, and I fall into this category, where you get a brief for a project and you adapt your style to fit the brief. Whereas I think what you've managed to achieve is that a brief will come to you seeking out your style. That's the direction. Because it is. So how did you develop that style? How did you be brave enough to go, do you know what? The temptation is to try this and maybe I should do some watercolour. But no, you don't. You very much stick to your signature look. So how did that come about?
I guess I developed my style like at the life drawing classes that I was going to, there was charcoal on offer, and so I started using that. And I got gifted for Christmas from my mum like a box of coloured chalk pastels. So I kind of started with that just because that's what I had. And then when I moved from drawing the nude figure at the classes into drawing fashion, I just continued using the same materials, and I really liked charcoal and like all the messy things. And like I've tried pencil and watercolor, but I think I'm quite like an immediate person. Like the energy that you get with like the charcoal and the mark making, it just suits me better than something more flowy, or I'm not very patient waiting for something to dry. Like, oh God.
That's what I like so much about your work, is it's that energy, and it's that rawness about it. It doesn't feel edited. It doesn't feel like you've sat painstaking over a portrait for hours, but you probably have before you put before you actually put charcoal to paper. But what actually comes out is done quite quickly, isn't it? Your work.
And I tend to like those artworks the best, the ones where you haven't laboured over it for too long, and it's just kind of, it has that energy to it, which is why I often do like blind drawings, continuous line drawings.
What's blind drawing? Is it what it says on the tip?
Like when you only look at the subject, so I'd be drawing you looking only at you but not down at the paper until you finished it. So it's blind in that sense. You're not like covering your eyes.
Sounds like a fantastic party game. I'm going to do that.
It is fun. Yeah. So I tend to do that just because it brings in like that kind of childlike element where you don't overthink it too much.
Were you a creative child, would you say? Is this something that's been innate in you forever when you look back, or has it?
I think so, yeah. I think like from a very young age, my mum was always encouraging me to draw. She used to make Play-Doh like every day from scratch. Like, you know, like when it's like super salty.
Yeah, I used to eat that stuff.
It is so good.
That explains a lot. So, like, if someone's watching this that wants to terribly be an artist, right, but they've got that internal battle of following your creative pursuits versus what's going to sustain you and make money.
Yeah.
Like, how did you kind of embark on that adventure and make sure that you were able to kind of, you know, fund yourself whilst growing your art business? Like, what did that look like for you? What are the steps you took to kind of get that stability?
It's a good question. I think, well, to be totally transparent, my mum's brother had died and he had left a small chunk of money, not a lot, but like enough for what do they call it? Like a fallback.
Yeah, like a security blanket.
Yeah. So I guess I'm incredibly grateful to him for that, because that gave me enough security to have that then allowed me to focus on just doing the art. So then that has always kind of been in the back of my head, and then I've just kind of built on that. But in terms of like choosing to dive straight into that, like, I guess it's not like an easy path to take, and like it has been difficult at like many stages, but kind of the benefits of it outweigh the negatives for me, like being freelance.
Yeah, and that freedom that gives
you.
you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And also I would now say I'm like basically unemployable, so it's got to work at this stage. So yeah.
I mean, it must have been a pinch me moment when the Vogue collaboration came about.
Yeah.
How did that happen? And just for people that might not know, like, what have you done for Vogue?
So I've done like a collaboration where for their Vogue values, I've created like a series of 6 illustrations which are used in each issue to kind of illustrate like different values, and like there's a few that I've done like about community or like the people behind the fashion collections.
So Vogue Values is a recurring section within the print magazine, and then you illustrate the kind of cover of that section.
So yeah, it's been really exciting to work with them, like a dream client, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So
how did that come about? Was that through an agent or was that through personal contacts? Or?
Yeah, it was actually again like very organic. So someone who I know, who I met through like a PR agency, she then had her own brand making leather belts, and she got in touch and asked me if I would like to come along and like draw on the photo shoot. So I did that maybe this time last year, and as a thank you, she then moved to Vogue, and so she was like, I'm gonna hook you up in an email with some of the creative team to see if they might like your work and introduce you. I think they could be interested. So she put together this email, and then they were like, okay, come in and pitch your work.
Stop.
So then I went into Vogue and did a slideshow presentation.
PowerPoint?
A PowerPoint for sure. My first PowerPoint in a very long time, and kind of the first time I've really pitched anything like that. So yeah, I just showed them what I've been up to, different styles of my work, and how we could perhaps work together. And then they got in touch like within a month or something to pitch this project. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've got an ongoing relationship with them now, I see.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do some more projects together. But
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
So what's been the pinch me moment in your career? Was that it? Or has there been anything else that springs to mind where you've literally been like, the girl from Scotland no more, look at who I am?
I mean, it's tricky to think of like one specific moment, but it does happen quite a lot actually, and I feel like I have to sit down and think about it more. Like, I feel like in our industry, it's so easy to, for these things to happen and then just to move on to the next thing and not like take a second to be like, hang on. A few years ago, you wrote this down in like your manifestation list, and then it's actually happened now. And that did happen with Vogue. I did some other things last year as well, which I worked with Hermes, which was amazing. And I'd literally written that down. I was talking to my friend Elaine, and I'd said, like, I really want to do Hermes Beauty, something with them. I love their packaging. And then...
But that's the lipsticks that you did. Yeah,
so I painted some of the lipsticks. Yeah. And then, like, a few months later, they got in touch, and the creative director of makeup, he was introducing the new like eyeliner and lip liner range, and they wanted me to like come and paint live in front of the like press audience and stuff to launch it, while he did like a live demonstration on the models as well. So I was like, wow, I mean...
And you say that you get nervous about public speaking and stuff, and yet you can do something like that. Do you get nervous in that setting, or is that where you feel at home?
No, I would say in terms of live drawing, I get nervous every single time.
Okay, fair.
Like, the first time I did a live portrait session was at the Edition Hotel, and it was during Fashion Week. I did like a residency, and I'd never actually done it before. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. It's fine.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
And I was shaking so much, like setting up, and I could see there was a queue because it had been in all these magazines, like Time Out and stuff, and ES magazines. So there was a queue of people waiting, like 20 or so. And I was shaking so much. I was like, I'm not even going to be able to draw. Like, it was so intense. I get less nervous than that now.
Yes.
But every single time I'm a bit nervous. And then I settle in after the pancake
After
drawing.
the pancake.
Yeah.
Another thing we touched on off camera, when I'm given like a project and there's a deadline, and it's normally the deadline was yesterday, so you've got to work super quickly for something. But I need time to like sit with a brief or like that creative thinking where you haven't even started yet, but it's all that getting into the headspace. How do you manage that when you've got a deadline and you've got to perform and you've got to produce something by said date? Like, how do you work on demand in that sense?
It's a good question, isn't it? It's hard. It's really
is.
hard. Because I think like you can't really force the flow state that we're trying to get into to like make that kind of work. But I think like when you're doing that work, you just like feel it when it's right. But so many things have to be in order to actually even get to that state to begin with. So like I need to have the studio tidy, probably my flat as well.
Yeah.
Like things like that, like feeling like my life is in order around it, having a tidy studio, having like decent meals and good sleep.
Yeah.
All that kind of contributes to it. And then I do find I work better at nighttime. So
interesting.
I kind of tend to do like admin up until lunchtime, and then I'll get into flow more around the evening, which is hard when you're on a deadline because you know that's kind of the opposite to other people's working hours.
To get the life balance as well, because in the evening, if it's family time, catching up with friends, your social life. So has your social life had to take a bit of a hit sometimes because of the way you work or the industry you're in?
I would say that I think I have a really good balance of like work life. It just is when there's a certain specific project that I'm working on, or say like around Fashion Week or something like that tends to go out the window. If I'm working on something, I'm like quite
laser
focused on
Do you get complete time blindness?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
It's that flow state you were talking about, which sounds like such a like wanky artsy term, isn't it? But
it's so
true.
thing.
It's when you're writing as well, or you're reading or producing, whatever it might be, but it's something that you realise that actually I haven't had a wee or
Yeah.
moved or
Yeah.
had a drink in 7 hours.
And I
because
haven't
I've just
spoken to like any of my friends. I've got like 18 WhatsApps to reply to, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
So...
But then if you get interrupted from that
Yeah.
and you were onto something, it's horrendous to
Yeah,
try and get it back.
for sure.
It's probably my number one frustration in life and in this industry. And you've got no control over it. And yet when you are commercial, you need, that's what it's controlling the uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've solved that there,
No,
love, have we?
no.
There's no magic recipe or no answer.
There really isn't.
I find that sometimes, lovely former guest Skye McAlpine said this, it's the fear of the blank page. And I think sometimes if you just start, even if what's coming out is rubbish to begin with, it's not as intimidating as the blank page. And you've got something, a reference point in which to start or adjust or go on a different path.
And I do tend to work well under pressure. So like a deadline, I will leave it until the last minute usually. And I will do everything else that I need to do.
Like clean your flat and do all that other stuff you said.
Any other project that's possibly like floating around that's so not a priority, I'll do that. And then because I'm like moving and that is happening, then it makes it easier for the one that I'm meant to be focusing on to then come out. Like I'll, or maybe in the evening before I leave the studio the night before, I'll start and leave it. And then when I come back in the morning, I can move into it quicker than if it's just like blank page, like, oh God, where did it begin?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good afternoon. Checking in, sir.
You know, if you're an artist or designer or whatever it might be in the creative world, there's always that internal battle, right, between producing the work that makes your heart sing versus what might be the most commercial opportunity. How do you make peace with that, or how do you navigate that to make sure that you are producing stuff that feels you, but you're earning a living?
I think it's about the balance, and I think it can come in the form of you do the really commercial work, you don't necessarily have to talk about it or post about it or share it, and that then allows you to make the work that you really want to make, that possibly doesn't have any commercial value at that point in time. But then I always think that the stuff that you do that feels like truest to you, and you feel passionately about, that is going to come across to the your audience and your client anyway. So maybe it's not an immediate win financially, but I think further down the line that can come back around. And also I think finding the balance when you're doing those commercial projects of making sure that it does stay true enough to your like artistic DNA is like the fine line. It is difficult, but I try to only take on projects which I feel like I'll be able to do justice. Like if someone comes to me and they're showing me references of another artist, I'll be like, just go to that artist instead. Like, I'm not going to try and emulate someone else's work just because it's a like financial opportunity.
Have you been bold enough to say that?
Yeah.
And do you think that that's come more recently because you're able to, or do you think you would have had that confidence at the beginning of your career?
I just don't know that I'd be able to do. I just don't think I can copy like someone else's work in that sense either. Like, I don't think I'd be able to do it justice, and I don't think it would look good in the end because it just like wouldn't be natural.
You've obviously got a real strength of character, which I hugely admire, and I think it's becoming clearer to me how you have developed such a recognisable self-image, brand and body of work, because you do make those decisions and you do draw a line in the sand, which you may not feel it, but that comes from a place of real confidence and understanding yourself and your work. So many people who are much older than you wouldn't have that. And they would probably say yes to things that weren't true to themselves because A, they might be curious, or B, there's a commercial opportunity there. I think it takes real integrity and sort of inner
yeah.
awareness to be able to do that. So kudos to you for that.
Thanks. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've definitely done a lot of work that I might not necessarily have shared like publicly that is perhaps not like how I would want to be. Like, there's nothing wrong with the work, but like it's maybe not how I would want to align myself, like brand image wise, or I don't know. I think it's something I always think about with, we have the same agent, like the kind of path that you want to go down. It's really difficult. Like, if you work with this brand, then not work with you. And like thinking about the long game as well is really difficult.
So take me back. You mentioned before that you kind of done backstage at fashion shows. Like, not everyone has had the experience of what that's like, myself included. Like, can you bring that moment to life for me? Like, what is it like behind the scenes at London Fashion Week?
I mean, it is one of my most favorite atmospheres. Like, there's so much energy, and I rock up with my toolbox, my pink trusty toolbox, and I have a tool belt that I wear with all my pens in it, and then I just tend to pick a model in hair and makeup or something, and then do some sketches while they're in hair and makeup. Then I'll maybe like follow through to when they are getting doing the dressing section, pick them again in the outfit, and I'll do that with maybe like 10 of the models, so kind of following them throughout the situation, because you only get maybe like 30 seconds to a minute of them actually stationary to get your drawing, so it kind of happens in parts. And
Do you
I'll be working
photographs and work from photographs
yeah,
and finish it
I
out?
take some pictures of like quick snaps, like compositions, and just like to reference like the color and stuff, but it's quite chaotic. But I do like that because it's so quick, and all the movement, you really have to be working like super fast, and it's the energy that's on the page, it's like the energy backstage. Also being conscious of like not getting charcoal all over the clothes, not dropping charcoal on the floor, people stand in it, then it's like trailed through this like white dress at the end. All these things are like going through my head, but yeah, it's an exciting atmosphere.
It's the perfection in imperfection, isn't it? And I think that's what comes to life in your work, is you kind of see how the journey you've gone on to the finished piece, and you don't get rid of those lines that which were the imperfect necessarily. But I love it. Everyone who hasn't seen it, you must look her up. Like, honestly, love your work. So one thing that I think everybody in this industry is plagued with, and I certainly am, and I want to know if it affects you, imposter syndrome. Do you ever get in a situation and you're like, how the hell am I here? And what's going on?
Yeah, I would say most days.
Okay.
All the time, for sure. And I think, like you say, it affects everyone. Like comparison to other creatives, looking at what other people are doing, like it, all the time. But I think what I have to remember, and like what we all have to remember, is like, if you're working, creating something that you feel good about and that's coming from you, and putting that out into the world, like that can't really be wrong. And just trying to like hold on to that.
Again, there's no secret, is there?
No.
But I think it's just, for me, it's being frightened but doing it anyway, and recognizing that feeling. But as you say, I don't think anyone around you is ever feeling that fear or that hesitation, because you've earned your place in that room, and really, no matter what you produce from that point onwards is going to hit the mark, because it's come from you, and that's what they're after. But goodness me, it can be debilitating.
It really can, And like, I've done like workshops and classes and I'll be so nervous about doing it, and I can feel my voice like wavering, and then afterwards my friends are like, oh, you didn't seem nervous at all. Like, and I did a talk this last year at Graduate Fashion Week about being a freelancer, and I had a microphone and stuff, and like even doing that like a few years ago, I would never have done that. So that did feel like an accomplishment. Like, I think it's just, like you say, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah. You got to say yes to stuff, right? And then be like, how the hell am I going to figure this out?
Yeah.
But you always do.
Yeah.
And then it's
Once
like, what's
you've
the
done
next
it.
thing?
Yeah.
You can't stagnate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You've done it once, so you can do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads me on beautifully to like, what does 2026 hold for you? Like, what's on your manifestation board for this year?
Well, I haven't actually made it yet. I'm waiting for the next New Year. I think it's like the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So I'm going by that because, January is too much. So I think I'm starting in February. So I've yet to make the manifestation board. But things I would like to do are I would like to do a collection of like drawings kind of placed onto textiles with a brand. Don't know who the brand would be, but I always love like Marnie. They have like lots of like painted textiles.
Yes.
That kind of situation.
I can never say this, so please forgive me, but Schiaparelli?
Schiaparelli.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
Schiaparelli.
yes.
I
Amazing.
love their prints.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually recently met Elsa Schiaparelli of Schiaparelli at the Fife Arms in Scotland.
Did you get a name right first time, or did you do what I did?
No, I had to Google and be like, the pronunciation thing. Like,
Okay,
good check.
Schiaparelli,
check,
Schiaparelli. Okay,
yeah.
got you.
Same with Hermes, not Hermes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible for that.
So that would be amazing to do like a textile collaboration. And I want to make more larger scale paintings, like not necessarily fashion related, but I guess more down like the fine art route. Like,
I've noticed you've started branching because you did that collaboration with Liberty, and is it 75 at Liberty?
Yeah.
Their restaurant.
Yeah.
So Jess's work can all be seen at the new restaurant at Liberty. And did they commissioned you for that?
Yeah, but it's only a month-long residency. Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Because it still feels very much like your work, but it was definitely more of the fine art.
Yeah. Which
cool.
was an exciting move for me, like personally, to work at that scale. And I'd just been to the Royal Drawing School for a 3-month course, the drawing intensive, which was amazing. And like that was, I guess, my first experience of learning to draw in like a setting like that. Like at art school, we did some drawing, but I guess I was more in the fashion realm then. So
what was your biggest takeaway from that experience? Like
my process, because I never really thought that much about my process and like what that looked like. But I kind of developed this new way of working where I'll start a drawing and then I spun it round, and then from those marks I would develop the drawing and it would become something else, and then I would spin it round. And it was kind of this intuitive process that I hadn't really had before, that now I've like brought that into other elements of my work, and I think it will be something that I maybe take forward, which is kind of along the same lines of the like blind drawing and these kind of backstage drawings. It's got like that fast energy to it, and you're just kind of responding to what's in front of you. But also it was so humbling to be in an environment where everyone was amazing at drawing.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. They're the rooms you want to be in, right?
Yeah.
Because you, have so much to give, but also you can take some back.
Yeah, for sure. It was a humbling experience.
Well,
amazing one.
Yeah. I am going to be looking out for your fine art pieces. I can't wait to see where that takes you.
Me neither.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, my love.
Cheers.
Let's eat some Caesar salad.
Let's.